All right, ready to dive into the world of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I think our listeners are really going to get a lot out of this one.
I know. I'm excited to finally get some of this stuff explained clearly, Like, I've heard it all, Bitcoin this, blockchain that.
Right.
But connecting the dots has been, well, a challenge.
It can be, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jargon, a lot of hype. It moves so fast, too.
That's why we're here today with How Does Cryptocurrency Work? A beginner's guide from Coursera as our roadmap. We're going to lay it all out simple and clear.
Love it. Back to basics.
Exactly. So let's start with the most fundamental question. What cryptocurrency really?
At its core, it's digital money. Plain and simple. It exists only online, but it's used for transactions, just like the cash in your pocket.
Okay, so digital money, but what makes it different from, say, using my debit card online?
The biggest difference is that there are no banks involved with cryptocurrency. No central authority controlling the flow of money.
No banks. Wow, okay. So who's keeping track of everything? How do we know it's secure?
That's where blockchain technology comes in.
Yes. The infamous blockchain. Everyone throws that term around, but
But what does it actually mean, right? Well, picture a giant digital ledger. It records every single cryptocurrency transaction, every trade, every movement of funds.
And this ledger is, what, public?
In a way, yes. It's distributed across a vast network of computers, so no single entity controls it. It's incredibly transparent.
So anyone can see the transactions.
That's the idea. It makes
Yeah.
it very secure because to change anything, you'd have to alter every copy of the ledger on all those computers. Virtually impossible.
So it's like a giant tamper-proof public record. Pretty impressive, actually.
It is, and that transparency is one of the things that draws people to cryptocurrency.
Makes sense. So, okay, we've got digital money, we've got this blockchain thing, keeping things secure. But how is this cryptocurrency created in the first place? Where does it come from?
Well, there are a couple of ways. One is through a process called mining.
Mining, like digging for gold?
Not exactly. In the crypto world, miners are powerful computers that solve complex mathematical problems to verify transactions and add them to that blockchain ledger we talked about.
So it's not just like digital coins magically appearing out of thin air. There's actual work involved.
Absolutely. It's a computationally intensive process, and it requires specialized hardware and software.
And it uses a ton of electricity, right? I've heard that's a bit of a controversy.
Yes, that's a valid concern, especially as we become more conscious of our environmental footprint.
So we've got mining, but you said there are other ways new cryptocurrency is created.
Right. There's also something called a hard fork.
A fork. Now this sounds interesting.
Imagine a tree trunk splitting, creating two separate branches. That's essentially what happens with a hard fork in a blockchain.
Okay, so it splits. What happens then?
The split creates a new chain, often with slightly different rules or features than the original. And this new chain can have its own brand new cryptocurrency associated with it.
A whole new cryptocurrency just like that.
Yep. And usually these hard fork cryptocurrencies are primarily used for investments rather than everyday purchases.
Okay, I'm starting to see how complex this all really is. But we've covered a lot. Digital money, blockchain security, mining, even these forks.
We're on a roll.
Now, how does this all stack up against our good old-fashioned dollars and euros? What are the key differences between cryptocurrency and traditional currency?
Great question. It comes down to centralization versus decentralization. You think about dollars, euros, yen, it's all backed by governments.
Right, controlled by central banks.
Exactly. Cryptocurrency, on the other hand, operates without that central authority. It's all about distributing power.
So no one entity has control over it.
That's the goal. And that difference impacts everything, how it's stored, how transactions are processed, even how secure it is.
So if I'm using cryptocurrency, I'm essentially taking control of my money, removing those traditional intermediaries like banks.
That's the idea, but it also means you're taking on more responsibility.
Responsibility, huh? What do you mean?
Well, think about traditional banking. Your money is insured against loss, right?
Up to a certain amount, yeah.
With cryptocurrency, there are no such guarantees. If you lose your digital wallet or fall victim to a scam, well, that money's likely gone for good.
Whoa, okay, that's a big difference. Greater control, but also greater risk.
Precisely. That's why understanding the nuances of cryptocurrency, like how to choose a secure wallet, is so crucial before jumping in headfirst.
Makes sense. So I'm starting to get the picture. But if there's no central authority, no bank to back it up, why are people so drawn to cryptocurrency? What are the advantages that make these risks worth taking?
One major advantage is privacy. When you use cryptocurrency, transactions don't require revealing your personal information, unlike traditional systems.
So less risk of identity theft or fraud.
Exactly. And because it's digital and decentralized, it's inherently global.
Global? How so?
You don't have to worry about exchanging currencies or dealing with international banking restrictions. It can move freely across borders.
Wow, that's pretty revolutionary. It's like having a truly universal currency.
It's a powerful concept that's attracting a lot of attention. But it's important to remember that each country has its own laws and regulations regarding cryptocurrency.
Right, so the global landscape is still a bit fragmented, even if the technology is borderless.
That's one of the challenges, for sure.
Okay, we've laid some solid groundwork here, but let's be honest, when people say cryptocurrency, they're not just talking about one thing, right? There's a whole universe of these digital currencies out there.
You're absolutely right. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
So how do we break down the different types? What are the big players?
Well, the most famous is, of course, Bitcoin. It was the first cryptocurrency, the one that started it all back in 2009.
The OG of crypto, right. Still the biggest too, I think.
By market value, yes. Then you've got Ethereum, which is the second most valuable. It's known for its ability to handle more complex transactions and for its use in things like decentralized applications.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those. dApps, right.
Exactly. And beyond those two giants, there's a whole universe of altcoins, alternative cryptocurrencies.
Altcoins, so everything that's not Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Essentially, yes.
Mm.
And there are hundreds of them, each with its own specific features and purposes.
Like, what are some examples, just so our listeners get a sense of the variety?
Sure, some popular ones include Cardano, Solana, even Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, the meme coin.
Yep, even that one. And XRP, which is focused on cross-border payments.
It's mind-boggling, the sheer number of these altcoins. It seems like there's a new one popping up every day.
It's a fast-moving space, that's for sure. And it's only getting more diverse.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty inspired to learn more about these specific cryptocurrencies, to dive deeper into their individual stories and applications. But first, let's talk practicalities. Someone's listening to this, they're intrigued, they want to get in on the action. How do they actually acquire some of this digital gold?
Great question. There are two main avenues, brokers and exchanges.
Brokers, like stockbrokers.
Similar, but for cryptocurrency. They basically act as intermediaries, connecting you to the exchanges where the actual buying and selling takes place.
So they make the process easier, especially for beginners.
Exactly. They can guide you through the steps, offer educational resources, and even provide some level of customer support.
Okay, so brokers are like the training wheels for getting into crypto.
A good way to put it. Exchanges, on the other hand, are where you're directly buying, selling, and trading cryptocurrencies with other users.
So more hands-on, but potentially more complex.
Right. Exchanges generally offer more control and often lower fees, but they require a bit more knowledge and comfort navigating the platform.
Got it. So brokers for convenience, exchanges for more direct control.
Exactly. Choosing the right platform depends on your individual needs, risk tolerance, and how much time you're willing to invest in learning the ropes.
Okay, let's say I've chosen my platform, broker, or exchange, and I'm ready to buy. What are the steps involved? How does one actually acquire cryptocurrency?
The first step is to create an account on your chosen platform. This usually involves providing some personal information and verifying your identity, a standard practice for most financial platforms.
So KYC, know your customer, anti-money laundering stuff.
Exactly. Once your account is set up, you'll need to fund it. That usually means transferring money from your bank account or using another payment method.
Got it. So you connect your traditional finances to this crypto platform. Then what?
Then you're ready to buy. You choose the cryptocurrency you want, using its ticker symbol, for example, BTC for Bitcoin, or ETH for Ethereum.
Ticker symbol. I know those from the stock market.
It's the same concept.
Yeah.
Then you specify how much you want to buy, and the platform handles the rest.
Sounds pretty straightforward, actually. Click, click, done. But I'm guessing there's a bit more to it than just blindly buying whatever crypto catches your eye, right?
You're absolutely right. Research is key. Don't just jump on the hype train. Understand the project, the technology behind it, its potential use cases, and of course, the risks involved.
So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Due diligence is just as important in the crypto world as in any other investment.
Absolutely. Cryptocurrency is a volatile market. Prices can fluctuate wildly, and there's always the risk of losing money.
Makes sense. So I've done my research, I've chosen my platform, I've made my purchase, I'm a crypto holder.
Hmm.
But where do I actually keep these digital assets? It's not like I can put them in my physical wallet.
That's where crypto wallets come in. They're essentially digital storage solutions designed specifically for holding and managing your cryptocurrency.
A digital vault for my digital gold. Makes sense.
Exactly. And there are two main types, hot wallets and cold wallets.
Okay, break it down for me. Hot versus cold, what's the difference?
Hot wallets are online and accessible from your computer or phone. They're convenient for everyday transactions, but a bit more vulnerable to security risks.
Vulnerable how?
Well, because they're connected to the internet, they're potentially susceptible to hacking attempts.
Makes sense. So what about cold wallets? Those are offline, right?
Exactly. Cold wallets are usually external devices like a USB drive. They offer maximum security because they're not connected to the internet.
So less convenient, but safer.
Exactly. Choosing the right wallet depends on your individual needs and how much risk you're willing to take. Hot wallets are great for frequent transactions and accessing your crypto on the go, while cold wallets are more like a safe deposit box for long-term storage of larger amounts.
Okay, so like with anything security related, there's a trade-off between convenience and maximum protection.
Right. And speaking of security, it's crucial to choose a reputable wallet provider and understand the specific features of each wallet.
Got it. Don't just download the first one you see. Do your homework.
Exactly. We'll be diving deeper into the world of crypto wallets in our next segment, including tips on choosing the right one for your needs.
Looking forward to that. This has been a fantastic overview, really demystifying the basics of cryptocurrency. From digital money and blockchain technology to mining, hard forks, and the differences between traditional currency and crypto, it's been an enlightening journey so far.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
I'm already hooked. Bring on the next dive.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of cryptocurrency. Now, I'm really eager to explore more of those nuances we touched on earlier, especially the, pros and cons. We've talked about all this revolutionary potential, but every innovation has its challenges, right?
Absolutely. No financial system is perfect. And cryptocurrency, well, it's definitely got its share of drawbacks.
Okay, so let's get real here. What are some of the hurdles, the things that might make someone think twice before diving into crypto?
I think the biggest one for a lot of people is its volatility,
Volatility
meaning the value of cryptocurrencies can swing wildly, sometimes in a matter of hours.
so it's a roller coaster ride.
Pretty much. And that can make it a very risky investment, especially for those new to the market who might not have the stomach for it, so to speak.
Yeah, I can see how those rapid fluctuations would be nerve-wracking, especially if you're dealing with significant amounts of money. What are some other challenges? Scalability is another big one.
Scalability.
Yeah, as more and more people use cryptocurrency, the underlying technology has to be able to handle, that increased volume of transactions. And that's not always easy.
Right, like those websites that crash when everyone tries to access them at the same time. Frustrating.
Exactly. And with crypto, this can lead to slower processing times, higher fees. It's like a traffic jam on a digital highway.
So the more popular it gets, the more strain it puts on the system.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Developers are constantly working on solutions, but it's an ongoing process.
Okay, volatility, scalability, any other potential downsides we should be aware of?
Well, we have to talk about security risks.
Right, that was on my mind too. Because I keep hearing about these hacks and thefts in the news.
It's a legitimate concern. While the blockchain technology itself is very secure, the platforms and exchanges, where people actually buy, sell, and store their crypto, those are still vulnerable.
Because they're online.
Right.
Always a target for hackers.
Exactly. We've seen some high-profile cases where exchanges have been breached, resulting in significant losses for users.
So it's a reminder that no matter how secure the technology claims to be, there's always some level of risk involved.
Absolutely. Vigilance and awareness are essential. Choosing reputable platforms, using strong passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, all those basic security practices apply here.
Got it. Don't get complacent. Okay, so we've talked about security risks. We've talked about volatility, scalability, anything else?
We should also mention the environmental impact.
Ah, yes, the energy consumption issue.
Right. The mining process, especially for Bitcoin, uses a tremendous amount of electricity.
Which, of course, raises concerns about its carbon footprint, especially as we, collectively try to move toward a more sustainable future.
Exactly. It's a valid concern.
Okay, so we've got these environmental concerns, we've got security risks, the volatility issue. Are there any, ethical dilemmas surrounding cryptocurrency?
Oh, definitely. There are a lot of ethical considerations to grapple with here.
For example,
Well, one concern is its potential for illicit activities.
illicit activities, you mean like criminal stuff?
Yeah, because cryptocurrency transactions can be um, somewhat anonymous. They've become attractive for things like money laundering.
Oh, I see. It's like the dark side of that privacy advantage we talked about earlier.
Right. Authorities are working to address these issues, but it's definitely an ongoing challenge.
So, like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It all depends on the intentions of the user. Are there any other ethical concerns on your radar?
Financial exclusion is another big one.
Meaning,
Well, to really engage with cryptocurrency, you need access to technology, a certain level of digital literacy,
right.
and not everyone has that. So there's a concern that this could actually widen the existing digital divide, leaving some people further behind.
That's an important point. As with any technological advancement, we have to be mindful of its impact on those who might not have the resources or skills to keep up.
Absolutely. And as cryptocurrency becomes more mainstream, more integrated into, traditional finance, we have to think critically about its impact on those existing power structures.
In what ways?
Well, will it democratize finance, empower individuals, create a more equitable system, or will it just reinforce the inequalities that already exist?
Big questions, huh? No easy answers.
Nope. It's a complex landscape.
It sounds like the future of cryptocurrency, while exciting, also carries this weight of responsibility. It's not just about the technology itself, but about how we use it to shape a more just, more equitable world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This discussion about the ethical implications, it's been fascinating, really eye-opening. I'm starting to appreciate just how much more there is to cryptocurrency than just the tech itself. It's about people, values, choices.
It is, and that's what makes it so compelling.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides, the ethical dilemmas. Let's shift gears for a moment and focus on the people who are shaping this crypto world. Who are the key players, the ones driving this digital gold rush?
Well, you've got the developers, of course. They're the brilliant minds behind the code, the ones constantly innovating, creating new cryptocurrencies, refining existing ones.
They're the architects of this new financial system, right?
Exactly. And then you got the miners.
The ones solving those complex mathematical problems, keeping the blockchain secure.
Right. The backbone of the network, ensuring its integrity.
Essential workers of the crypto world.
For sure. And then we can't forget the exchanges.
Ah, yes. Where the buying and selling happens.
Exactly. They're the marketplaces connecting buyers and sellers from all over the world.
The bustling trading floors of the digital age.
Love that analogy. And then, of course, there are the investors.
The ones betting on the future of crypto.
Right. The individuals and institutions putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak. They range from, small-time enthusiasts to venture capitalists pouring millions into crypto startups.
A whole spectrum of players.
It is. And their belief in the potential of this technology, it's what fuels its growth and development.
It's pretty amazing how all these different players, with their diverse motivations and roles, are coming together to shape this new frontier.
It's a dynamic ecosystem, constantly shifting.
Speaking of shifting, what about trends? What are some of the key developments, the things our listeners should be aware of as they navigate this world?
One major trend is the growing institutional adoption of cryptocurrency. We're seeing major companies, banks, even governments exploring blockchain technology and digital currencies.
Really, governments too.
Yep. It's adding a lot of legitimacy to the space, and it's driving further innovation.
So it's going mainstream. What else is happening?
The rise of decentralized finance is another big one.
Decentralized finance, or DeFi, as I've seen it abbreviated.
That's it. It's a whole ecosystem of financial applications built on blockchain technology, aiming to create a more open, transparent, accessible financial system.
So it's not just about buying and selling crypto anymore. It's about, rebuilding the entire financial infrastructure.
Essentially, yes. DeFi is still in its early stages, but it has the potential to disrupt traditional finance in some pretty profound ways.
Mind-boggling. Okay, so we've got institutional adoption, we've got DeFi. Anything else on the horizon?
Well, you can't talk about trends without mentioning NFTs.
NFTs, yes. Non-fungible tokens. I've heard that term thrown around a lot lately, but I'm still a little fuzzy on what they actually are.
They're essentially unique digital assets. They represent ownership of things like digital art, collectibles, music, even virtual real estate.
So it's like a digital certificate of authenticity proving you own the original.
Exactly. And because they're on the blockchain, that ownership is verifiable and secure.
I've heard some NFTs have sold for like millions of dollars. It's crazy.
It is a wild market.
Okay, NFTs, DeFi, institutional adoption. What else should our listeners keep an eye on?
The metaverse is another big one.
The metaverse, it's like a virtual world, right?
That's right. A persistent virtual world where people can interact with each other and digital objects. And cryptocurrency and blockchain technology are expected to play a key role in its development, enabling things like digital ownership and transactions within these virtual spaces.
So you're saying I could buy like virtual real estate with cryptocurrency in the metaverse?
It's already happening.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction. A virtual world with its own economy, powered by crypto.
The lines between the physical and digital are definitely blurring.
Blurring is right. Okay, so we've got NFTs, the metaverse, institutional adoption. What else?
We also need to talk about regulation.
Ah, yes. The government's always got to get involved eventually.
Yeah, inevitable. Governments around the world are grappling with how to regulate cryptocurrencies, trying to, find that balance between promoting innovation and protecting consumers.
I can imagine that's a tough balancing act.
It is. Too much regulation could stifle innovation, but too little could leave consumers vulnerable.
Right, so it's something to watch closely.
Absolutely. The regulatory landscape is constantly evolving, and it's going to have a significant impact on how cryptocurrency develops.
It's incredible how much is happening in this space and how quickly things are changing. It's almost like drinking from a fire hose.
I know, right? But it's also what makes it so exciting. There's always something new to learn, new developments to explore.
I have to admit, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by all this information, but also incredibly inspired. It's like a whole new world has opened up, and I want to learn more.
That's the spirit, and that's what's so important. Maintain that curiosity, that openness to learning.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the potential downsides and ethical considerations to the key players and major trends shaping the crypto world. But ultimately, it comes down to the individual, to you, our listener.
Exactly.
With everything you've learned in this deep dive, what role do you see cryptocurrency playing in your life? Is it an investment opportunity? A tool for financial empowerment? A technological marvel that sparks your curiosity?
Or maybe all of the above.
Right, there's no one right answer. And that's the beauty of it. The answer is different for everyone.
Exactly. There's no right or wrong path, only the path of informed choices.
Informed choices. I love that. And I think that's the perfect takeaway from this deep dive. Welcome back for the final part of our cryptocurrency deep dive. Whew, a lot to absorb, right?
Definitely jam-packed. But hey, I think we've shed some light on this whole crypto world.
I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, to be honest. I mean, I've learned a ton, but it's clear this is just the tip of the iceberg.
It is. And that's the exciting part. There's so much more to explore, to understand.
Exactly. And that's where I'm kind of stuck. Like, where do I even go from here? How do I keep up with all the changes, the new developments?
Oh, the good news is there are tons of resources out there.
Okay, but like, where? How do I know what's reliable, what's not just hype or, trying to sell me something?
You got to be discerning, that's for sure. I always recommend starting with reputable sources,
Yeah.
industry publications, academic journals.
So not just random blogs or Twitter threads.
Yeah, those can be helpful sometimes, but always take them with a grain of salt. Look for information that's well-researched, balanced, not sensationalized.
Makes sense. Solid advice. And it's a constantly evolving landscape, so gotta stay updated.
Absolutely. Continuous learning is key in this space.
What about communities? Are there online forums or groups where people can connect with other crypto enthusiasts?
Oh yeah, tons of them. Those communities can be incredibly valuable.
Why? What's the benefit?
Well, you can connect with like-minded people, ask questions, share insights.
Sounds like a good way to learn from others' experiences, get different perspectives.
Exactly. But, just like with any online information, approach it with a critical eye. Always verify information from multiple sources.
Got it. So it's not just passively absorbing information, but actively engaging, questioning, being part of the conversation.
That's the key. Don't be afraid to challenge assumptions. Seek out diverse viewpoints.
Makes us all less intimidating too, I think.
Right. It's a learning process for all of us.
Okay, so we've talked about the resources, the importance of staying informed, connecting with others. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the individual, right? To you, our listener.
That's the heart of it, really.
With everything you've learned in this deep dive, with all the possibilities and challenges we've explored, what role do you see cryptocurrency playing in your life?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Is it an investment, a technology that sparks your curiosity, a tool for, financial freedom. Maybe it's about the community being part of something that feels innovative and disruptive.
There's no single answer, and that's what's so exciting.
Right. It's a very personal journey.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And as we've discussed, it's a journey that comes with, both potential and responsibility.
Right. Understanding the risks, being aware of the ethical implications.
Absolutely. But also embracing the possibilities, the potential to create a more transparent financial system.
Wow. I gotta say, I'm feeling a mix of emotions right now. A little overwhelmed, definitely inspired, and a lot more curious than I was when we started this deep dive.
That's what we were hoping for.
You've done a fantastic job guiding us through this complex landscape. I know I'm walking away with a much deeper understanding, and I'm sure our listeners are too.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you and with all our listeners out there.
And remember, this isn't the end, it's just the beginning. Keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep asking questions. The world of cryptocurrency is constantly evolving, and the most exciting chapters are still to come.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.